Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you all had a really great weekend. I'm not going to be doing celebrations assembly today. There's going to be an assembly tomorrow to say goodbye to some of our teachers and some of the children that are leaving us, and we'll all watch that together at 9:30 in the morning. Then there will be a Year 6 Leavers Assembly, which we're going to do in the field tomorrow at 10 o'clock. But today, I'd really like to talk about the other inspirational people that our classes are named after, the ones that we haven't spoken about yet. So we're going to start with Jill Murphy. Jill Murphy is our nursery class name. Jill Murphy is a famous author, and one of her most popular books is The Worst Witch. When she first tried to get this book published, she had lots of rejection, and one publisher actually said it would be too scary for children. Jill also attended the Croydon Art School, which I thought was interesting. And do you know she wasn't the best at everything when she was at school? But despite this and many barriers when she was attempting to become a successful author, she didn't let this stop her. She still succeeded. Enid Blyton is the name of one of our reception classes. She was an English writer born in Dulwich in the 19th century, and her most famous stories are the famous 5 books about a group of 4 children, Dick, Julian, Anne and Georgina, who wanted to be called George, and their dog Timmy, and their many adventures. Her parents wanted her to become a concert pianist, but Enid wanted to be a teacher. Her parents agreed to let her train as a teacher, and she began teaching in 1919 in Beckenham, not far from here. Enid Blyton has been in the Guinness Book of World Records as one of the world's biggest selling writers. She is also included because she wrote more books than almost any other writer. She wrote 700 books. Enid Blyton did a lot of work for charity, and she had a club for children which helped them to give money to charities. Like many successful people and the inspirational people our classes are named after, she did things for other people. Anne Frank is one of our Year 2 class names. Anne Frank was born in Frankfurt in Germany on the 12th of June 1929. Anne was an outgoing and spirited child. She got into more trouble than her quiet and serious older sister. Anne was like her father, who liked to tell the girls stories and play games with them, whilst Margot, Anne's sister, was more like her shy mother. Growing up, Anne had lots of friends. Her family was Jewish. On May the 10th, 1940, Germany invaded the Netherlands, where Anne and her family lived. The Franks did not have time to escape. Jews had to register with the Germans. They weren't allowed to own businesses, have jobs, go to the movies, or even sit on the benches in the park. Things continued to get worse. Anne's dad, Otto, had prepared a secret hideout next to his place of work. The door was hidden behind some bookshelves. The hideout was small. The first floor had a bathroom and a small kitchen. The second floor had 2 rooms, one for Anne and Margot, and one for her parents. There was also an attic where they stored food and where Anne would sometimes go to be alone. During those times in hiding, Anne wrote diaries about her experiences. On the 4th of August 1944, the Germans stormed into the Franks' hideout. They took everyone captive and sent them to concentration camps. The men and women were separated. Eventually the girls were separated and sent to camp. Both Anne and her sister died of the disease typhus in March of 1945, only a month before Allied soldiers arrived at the camp to free them. The only family member to survive the camp was Anne's father, Otto. He returned to Amsterdam and found Anne's diary. Her diary was published in 1947 under the name The Secret Annex. Later, it was renamed Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl. It became a popular book read throughout the world. Malala Yousafzai is one of our Year 3 class names. Malala Yousafzai was born in Pakistan on the 12th of July 1997. Malala's early childhood was one of happiness and peace. Her father was a teacher who ran several schools. Many Pakistani girls did not go to school, but this was not the case for Malala. Her father ran a school for girls where Malala attended. Malala loved learning and going to school. She dreamt of one day becoming a teacher, a doctor, or a politician. She was a bright girl. She learned 3 different languages, including Pashto, English, and Urdu. Her father always encouraged her to learn more and taught her that she could accomplish anything. An organisation called the Taliban began to take over the region where she lived. The Taliban were strict Muslims who demanded that people follow Islamic Sharia law. They said that women were to stay at home. If a woman left home, she was to wear a burqa and must be accompanied by a male relative. As the Taliban gained more control, they began to enforce new laws. Women would not be allowed to vote or have jobs. There would be no dancing, television, movies or music. Eventually, the Taliban demanded that the girls' schools be shut down. Girls' schools that were shut down were burned or destroyed. However, Malala continued to go to school and to also write a blog about her experiences. The Taliban were not happy with Malala. One day after school, on October the 9th, 2012, Malala was taking the bus home. Suddenly, a man boarded the bus. The man injured Malala and she was very sick. She woke up a week later in a hospital in England. The doctors weren't sure if she would live, but Malala survived. She still had a number of surgeries but was attending school again 6 months later. On her 16th birthday, Malala gave a speech to the United Nations. In the speech, she spoke about wanting all girls to get an education. She didn't want revenge or violence on the Taliban. She wanted peace and opportunity for all. Malala's fame and impact has continued to grow. She has received a number of awards, including being the co-recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014. She also wrote a best-selling book called I Am Malala. Malala was the youngest person ever to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. The United Nations have named July the 12th as World Malala Day. And she once said, "When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful." Malala knew that what she was doing, what she was saying, what she believed in was right, and she had the courage to stand up and say that. When I started doing these assemblies, I read you the book Amazing Grace. I asked the teachers at the time if they had a copy of this book, and Miss Buck immediately told me she had one. She also said she had another story about Grace, and I hadn't heard of this book. So I decided to go and search and delve a little deeper about Grace. And I found many books about her. This is the one that Miss Buck gave me. It's called Grace and Family. So when I found this out, I realised that even though that book Amazing Grace, which I'd read many years ago, really inspired me, I didn't really investigate nearly enough about Grace and the person who wrote these books. I also believe that we haven't fully explored the amazing lives of those people we have named our classes after. This is something we are going to do next year. We are going to know about these people. And if we do this and we delve a little deeper, because there are more people who have made this world a better place, it might just inspire us to be one of those people too. Finally, I would like to say a really big thank you to all of the parents and carers for supporting the Academy this year and for helping us to make a success of this constantly changing education environment we have been subject to. And thank you too for all of the gifts you have given us. You have been so generous and we really do appreciate them. Have a great summer everybody, and I'll see you in September.